Imagine paddling out on your own damn lake. The one your family's owned for generations. Only to have some self-righteous HOA busybody screech from the shore like you're public enemy number one for daring to fish. That's exactly how it started for Alex Thompson. Retired civil engineer and heir to a pristine 15-acre slice of American paradise in Willow Creek subdivision, Virginia. But oh, the irony, because that screeching harpy had no idea she'd just woken a sleeping giant who'd turn her petty empire into a federal circus. Buckle up, folks, because what unfolded next isn't just revenge. It's a masterclass in how one man's quiet patience can drown a whole network of greedy thieves in their own stolen water. Alex eased his kayak into the glassy center of Thompson Lake. The late afternoon sun glinting off the antique surveyor's compass dangling from his neck. A relic from his grandfather who'd mapped this very watershed back in the 50s. 48. After 2 decades crunching numbers on dam projects across the Midwest, Alex had cashed out and returned to the family homestead, dreaming of lazy days hooking base and forgetting the corporate grind. But lately, the water level had dipped mysteriously, maybe 8 inches below the old brass marker on the dock, and it bugged him like an unsolved equation. Evaporation rates didn't add up, not with the recent rains. The crunch of gravel snapped him from his reverie. There she was, Margaret Maggie Hargrove, the iron-fisted president of the Willow Creek Homeowners Association, storming down the embankment from the HOA's manicured common green like a general charging a battlefield. Her pearl necklace bounced against her starched blouse, khaki capris screaming suburban authority, and those sensible loafers kicking up dust as if the ground owed her an apology. Flanking her were 2 rent-a-cops, beefy guys in ill-fitting polo shirts clutching notepads like shields, looking about as comfortable as cats in a bathtub. Mr. Thompson, Maggie's voice sliced across the water, high-pitched and laced with that faux-polite venom only HOA lifers could muster. You need to cease this activity right now. It's a blatant breach of our enhanced community wellness protocols. Alex paddled closer, reeling in his line slowly, his face a mask of calm confusion. He'd crossed paths with Maggie at a few neighborhood barbecues, always the type to lecture about mailbox uniformity or lawn height with a smile that never reached her eyes. Well, afternoon, Maggie. What's the issue? I'm just fishing here on my own property. Her eyes darted to the water's edge, where the exposed mudline betrayed the dropping level. She waved a sheaf of papers like a talisman. These new guidelines, passed unanimously at last week's board meeting, prohibit any recreational pursuits that could compromise vital resource access. Safety first, you understand. For the greater good. The absurdity landed like a bad joke. Alex chuckled inwardly, but his voice stayed even. Maggie, this lake's been Thompson family land since before your HOA even dreamed up its first fine for mismatched shutters. Those boundary stones right there, they've marked the line for 70 years. No one's accessing anything but me and the fish. Maggie's composure flickered, her grip tightening on the papers. We'll need to verify that. Immediately, she yanked out her phone, fingers stabbing at the screen. I'm notifying the authorities. You're endangering public welfare and defying HOA directives. As she barked into the phone about trespass and hazards, Alex's engineers I caught something off glints of metal peeking from the reeds near the property line. Buried pipes, industrial grade, snaking toward the HOA's lush lawns that stayed emerald even in drought. The math clicked, unauthorized siphoning. Maggie's freakout wasn't about safety. It was cover for a heist she'd been pulling right under his nose. 20 minutes ticked by like molasses before a sheriff's SUV rolled up, lights off but siren whooping once for effect. Deputy Harlan stepped out, A lanky guy in his 40s with a mustache that screamed, "I've seen it all." Maggie launched into her tirade, arms flailing. "Officer, this man's obstructing essential infrastructure. Our protocols demand compliance." The rent-a-cops nodded like synchronized puppets. One mumbling, "Yeah, a safety violation." Alex docked his kayak and strolled over, deed in hand from his tackle box. "Evening, Deputy. Alex Thompson. Here's the paperwork, full ownership. Water rights included." Harlan scanned the documents, then eyed Maggie's printout, which looked fresh off a home printer with coffee stains. "Ma'am, this is private property. No violation I can see." Maggie's face twisted into a plum shade. "But the water is critical for emergency preparedness. Potential crises." Harlan raised an eyebrow. "What crises? Fire hydrants? Alien invasion?" She sputtered. "Future ones. Hypothetical emergencies that require unrestricted access." The deputy snapped his notebook shut. "Mr. Thompson, enjoy your evening." "Ma'am, take it to civil court if it's that hypothetical." He drove off, leaving Maggie fuming with her goons. Back at his dock, Alex photographed the water gauges, old brass steady. New digital screaming deficit. Those pipes? Clear intakes. Hidden but humming faintly. As a civil engineer, he knew water theft wasn't petty. It was felony territory, especially tying into aquifers. The compass felt heavier, a reminder of Grandpa's mantra, "Water's life. Sun, guard it like gold." Sunset painted the lake crimson as Alex headed inside, Maggie's SUV still idling in the lot, her silhouette gesticulating on a call. Tomorrow, he'd measure flows and dig into HOA records. Little did she know, her greater good facade was about to crack wide open. The mailbox the next morning spat out a trifecta of nonsense that turned Alex's coffee bitter. A $7,500 fine for environmental disruption, a cease and desist banning hazardous leisure, and a 48-hour notice for a mandatory ecological audit. All HOA stamped, predated to before her lakeside meltdown. Planned ambush. Alex grabbed his toolkit and headed to the shore, mist curling like ghosts. The pipes gleamed in daylight, 8-inch beasts with digital meters. Pro install. Tracing them, he heard a low buzz from behind HOA hedges. A pump station labeled Willow Creek Resource Solutions. Not HOA, Maggie's side hustle. Billing the association for pilfered H2O. His phone pinged. "Mr. Thompson, EcoGuard inspections here. Audit at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Prepare all access points." Never heard of them. Quick search. Shell company. 6 months old. Maggie as CEO. Services boiled down to HOA contracts for resource optimization. Optimization. My ass, straight up resale of stolen goods. Phone rang, old colleague. Environmental attorney Sarah Klein. "Alex, heard you're back at the lake. Fishing good. More like trawling for crooks," he quipped. "Spilling the beans, fines, pipes, fake firm." Sarah's tone sharpened. "That's water rights fraud federal if it hits public supply. Document everything. I'm there by noon." While waiting, Alex followed the money trail on his laptop. HOA budgets ballooned threefold in 4 years. No new fountains or pools to show. Willow Creek Resource Solutions raked in $250,000 yearly. Electric bills? Spiked at night, pump o'clock. A whiff near their utility shed. Ozone from overtaxed motors. A van pulled up, EcoGuard. Same goons from yesterday in lab coats now. Alex waved them off from afar. Private property. Faceless. Audit cancelled. They grumbled but peeled out. Alex snapped pics. Serial numbers. Timestamps. Calculations. 2,000 gallons daily siphoned. At rates. That's $2,500 monthly, 6 figures over years. His water. Her profit. Another call. Gruff voice. Alex? Tom Rivera. Local Gazette. Hearing whispers about HOA shenanigans. Got dirt. How'd you find me? You're not the only one. Meet tonight. Sarah arrived. Then Tom in a rusty sedan plastered with press stickers. Over kitchen spread. This ain't theft, Sarah said. It's syndicate-level fraud. Potential RICO if multi-site. Tom flipped notes. 10 complaints. Wells dry. Creeks low. All near Maggie's HOAs. She's linked to half. Pumps droned outside like a thief's heartbeat. Alex gazed at the lake. Golden again. Yesterday. Retiree angler. Today. Takedown architect. Compass gleamed. Grandpa's surveys had locked these rights tight. Maggie thought them hers? Big mistake. That night, insomnia hit. Pumps mocked him. At 2 a.m., attic raid, Grandpa's files, labeled pristine. County Aquifer Maps 1954, Hargrove letters, hands trembled. 1982 letters, Maggie's dad begging, then bullying for water rights. Community needs Trump greed, one snarled. Grandpa's replies, firm nose, citing aquifer recharge, lake fed thousands downstream. Bombshell, 1954 deed, full subsurface ownership. Every drop Thompson's. Grandpa's journals, flow charts, compass bearings tracing underground feeds to municipal wells. Maggie's not stealing, Alex muttered. She's hijacking public health. Dawn called to Sarah. Family feud, 40 years brewing. She and Tom rushed over. Documents stunned them. Multi-gen conspiracy, Tom said, snapping pics. Bigger than local graft. They trekked boundaries per journals, compass spot on after decades. At Aquifer Head, she's risking contamination for all, Sarah warned. Tom's phone blew up. 14 victims now. County water clerk. Ex-Maggie A. Jenny Park. Meet discreetly. It's worse. Coffee shop. Jenny's box, invoices galore. Tapped 12 sources. Shell's hide cache. Sold millions gallons to factories. One Shell. Thompson Aquatics LLC his name. Maggie double dipping. Steal. Sell back at premium. This is poisoning, Jenny added. Factories dump waste back into aquifers. Alex's gut twisted. Not just theft. Endangerment. Compass pointed north, truth's direction. Maggie's wellness protocols? Smoke for a toxic empire. Tensions simmered like a pot about to boil over in Willow Creek. Word leaked, anonymous tips to Tom about dry wells and shady bills, and Maggie's grip slipped. HOA meetings turned into gripe fests. Why's my yard fee tripled with no rain? One neighbor griped. Alex, Sarah, and Tom built the fortress, flow data, historical deeds, witness statements. Freedom of info requests exposed bribes, county inspectors on Maggie's payroll, overlooking optimizations. One evening, stakeout, pumps word overtime. Alex snuck photos, Maggie herself checking meters, whispering to a suit, double output, droughts our cover, recorded, if Thompson snoops, bury him in fines till he sells. Sarah filed emergency injunctions. Federal water crimes, we're talking EPA, FBI. Maggie's retaliation ramped. Midnight inspections. Goons spotlighting Alex's dock. Safety check, one yelled. Alex deadpanned from porch. At 1 a.m.? Must be vampire hazards. Neighbors whispered. Maggie's emergency fund. Raids for legal shields. Board members defected. She's using dues for her scams. Tom's article dropped. HOA Queen siphons secrets. Water heist exposed. Quotes from Jenny. Blurred pics of pipes. Comments exploded. Karen on steroids. Audit the audits. Maggie's facade cracked at next HOA meet. Packed room. Her at podium. These baseless smears attack our harmony. Mr. Thompson resents progress. Booze. An old farmer stood. My pond's half gone since your resources started. Harmony, that's theft. Maggie smoothed her blouse. Mere coincidences. Our protocols ensure equity. Alex rose quietly. Equity? Like billing us for our own water while poisoning kids' taps. Gasped. Sarah projected invoices. Shell companies. Folks. Your fees funded her yacht dreams. Maggie's eyes bulged. Lies. I'll sue for defamation. Tom grinned. Bring it. Feds are listening. That night, FBI vans rolled in, raids on Maggie's office. Home. Pumps silenced forever. Arrest warrant, water theft, fraud, contamination conspiracy. Alex watched from his dock, compass steady. The damning evidence? Her own greed, now flooding back. The federal courthouse in Richmond hummed with the weight of impending downfall. Reporters crowding the steps like vultures on a fresh kill. Maggie Hargrove sat at the defense table, her once impeccable bob now frizzy. Orange jumpsuit clashing with the pearls she insisted on wearing, a pathetic grasp at dignity. Her high-dollar lawyers fidgeted, knowing the mountain of evidence was Everest-sized. Prosecutor Elena Vargas opened. This isn't petty squabbling. Margaret Hargrove orchestrated a criminal syndicate, stealing water from private lands, corrupting officials, and endangering public health for profit. Exhibits piled. Grandpa's deeds. Flow charts matching contamination spikes in town wells. Kids' mysterious rashes traced to industrial runoff via Maggie's sales. Jenny testified. She ignored warnings. Profits over purity, she said. Tom presented recordings. Maggie bragging. Thompson's Lake, our golden goose. Fine him till he folds. Maggie's defense? Innovative management. Gray areas in regulations. Judge Ramirez leaned forward. Voice dripping sarcasm. Gray areas? Like bribing inspectors gray? Or offshore accounts hiding millions gray? This is black and white crime. Madam. The clincher. EPA expert on aquifer maps, Grandpa's work highlighted. Her extractions risked collapse for 5,000 homes. And the pollution? Criminal negligence. Maggie's face crumpled as victims spoke. A mom tearfully. My boy's asthma? From your equity? Cross-exam. Maggie's lawyer grilled Alex. Isn't this personal? Family grudge. Alex smiled faintly. Personal? She stole my heritage. But facts don't grudge. They indict. Guilty on 20 counts. RICO, theft, bribery, environmental felonies. Sentencing, 25 years federal pen. No parole. $6 million restitution. Assets seized, her mansion auctioned cheap. Alex snapped it for pennies, turning it into a community watershed museum. Irony thicker than the mud she left. As cuffs clicked, Maggie whispered to her lawyer. How? It was just business. He shrugged. Bad business sinks ships or empires. Outside, Alex held the compass skyward, north to justice. Maggie's reign drowned in her own deluge. 6 months post-conviction, Alex lounged on his restored dock, lake brimming for the first time in years, digital monitors pinging full capacity, base leaping like they'd won the lottery. Pumps, dismantled relics. Maggie's sentence, ironclad, appeals denied by the Supremes. Her mansion, now Alex's guest house, HOA fees redirected to eco-repairs. But the cherry? Court-mandated service. Every weekend, orange-clad Maggie scrubbed contamination sites countywide. Today, Thompson Lake Shore, bucket in hand, guards watching as she knelt in muck, erasing pump scars, her manicure history, face a mask of humiliated fury. She glanced up, spotting Alex fishing serenely. Eyes locked, defeat in hers, quiet triumph in his. She'd picked the wrong pond to poach. Systemic fallout. 10 officials jailed. 15 shells busted. Factories fined into compliance. New laws enshrining Grandpa's surveys as precedent. Her greed, catalyst for cleaner water statewide. Evening perimeter walk. Compass guiding, boundaries secure. Legacy eternal. Maggie had schemed to steal a drop. Instead, she amplified a flood of protection. The lake mirrored stars. Pumps ghosts silenced. Some thieves dig graves with shovels. Maggie used pipes and buried herself deep. So, tell me, was Maggie the real victim of overregulation? Or did she just get what every power-drunk HOA tyrant deserves?